I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm here to do a quick book review video. I have 4 books to talk about today, and I'm gonna just plow through them all. There's no particular order, and the first one that I'm going to start with is this one. This one that I've got is called The Moonday Letters, and this is a translated work of fiction, science fiction, that I was sent for review. Now, I know what you're thinking, science fiction isn't your sort of thing, is it really? Why are you reading it? Well, let me tell you, it called to me and it sounded like something that I could enjoy regardless of the fact that I'm not normally into science fiction. But yeah, it just sort of called me in. So the synopsis, let's see what was actually said to me, because I don't want to give any spoilers. Let's see. So it says, Sol has disappeared. Their earthborn wife Lumi sets out to find them, but it is no simple feat. Each clue uncovers another enigma. Their disappearance leads back to an underground environmental group and a web of mystery that spans space between the planets themselves. Told through letters and extracts, the course of Lumi's journey takes her not only from the affluent colonies of Mars to the devastating remnants of Earth, but into the hidden depths of Sol's past and long-forgotten secrets of her own. Now, I know that I started this review saying that this is a sci-fi novel. Obviously, from the synopsis, we've got a spacey setting. However, I would say that the science element of this science fiction is quite muted, and so it's not something that I would think people who don't normally read sci-fi like myself could get away with reading. As I say, I'm not a science fiction reader, but when I was offered the chance to review this, there was just something about it that drew me in. Now, this is not fast-paced by any stretch of the imagination. This is a very long and woven story that just is almost lyrical in its style, and the writing style itself is particularly beautiful. It's very literary, the words are beautifully constructed. I just noticed that my camera was going back like that, so I do apologise if you just spent the last 5 minutes looking at my nose. So yeah, this is it's a slow burner, so if you're into a fast-paced sort of keep you on the edge of your seat read, this isn't the one for you. But if you're the type of person who likes to sit back, kick back and read a book that is going to weave you along a slow and lilting journey, this one might be for you. The story is told through letters, and we learn about Lumi's search for Sol, her partner, and so there's obviously a huge level of intrigue there, and in amongst it is the world building of this world of science and magic and mystery, and the whole thing is just a different read for me, but it was pretty enjoyable. Now, changing track almost completely, it's this one. This is the box, and this is another one that was sent to me for review, but this is more my sort of usual style of read, a thriller, and wow, was this a page turner and a half. I love this book. So the synopsis that I've been given on this one, I don't think it's got a full synopsis, so I don't really want to spoil it, because it says on the back, your daughter is missing, you've been accused of a terrible crime, how can you save her if everyone believes you're a murderer? And so basically we've got Ed, whose daughter has upset a few people in the men's rights movement, and she goes missing. But also a girl is found brutally murdered, and somehow she just happens to have some of Ed's DNA with her. So Ed, obviously totally confused by this, absolutely horrified, decides to go on the run, but he also has to find his daughter. So now he's in this bizarre game of cat and mouse where he can't reveal where he is because he's a wanted man, but he needs to find his daughter. And there was something about this where in my head Ed was Liam Neeson. Is it Neeson or Neeson? The fella from Taken. In my head, that's who he was. I don't know why. I couldn't picture it any other way. Yeah, this is extremely fast-paced. It's gripping, it's explosive, and it keeps you turning those pages. It doesn't slowly lead you down a nice little flowery path till you sort of discover what's going on. This starts with a bang, it carries on all the way through, and I really enjoyed it. This was brilliant for me because I've been in a bit of a reading slump. Not a true reading slump because I've wanted to read, but I just haven't had time. There are a few things I'm setting up behind the scenes and things that I'm getting up to, and so I haven't had as much chance to read as I normally would. But but this one was one of them that kept me coming back. I loved the characters, I felt invested in them, and I was interested to know what was happening next. I really cared, and so I very much enjoyed this one. Oh, I should mention that this is by Dan Malakin. It's not on the front of the book. The next book that I've got is this one. This is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Let me see if I can get it out of its dust sleeve. Sometime later. Here it is. So this is the Folio Society edition, and it has lots of pretty illustrations throughout. And yeah, this is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, a classic horror. I have to say, it's not exactly what I was expecting. Sorry if I'm moving around a lot. I pulled my back at work and it is really hurting. So I'm like dancing all over the place. So this is classic horror. Everyone seems to recommend it and love it. People seem to adore this book, and yet I wasn't blown away. The banter between the characters at the beginning was fun. It let you sort of into a mindset of just silliness mixed with what seemed to me to be silliness mixed with privilege. You know, there was something about the whole thing that played out almost like it would be a posh private school, and just the banter running through there. But throughout the book it became extremely childish, and it irritated me. It just rubbed me up the wrong way. I began to get annoyed at the characters, and I just didn't care. By the end of it, I didn't care anymore. And so it's a shame, but yeah, this one fell a little flat for me. But I am going to keep it, even though it is not the best read I've ever read, because it is such a beautiful version. And the final book that I read is this one. This is Not Quite White. And this book says, this is a story of belonging and not belonging, of not knowing you exist and of making sure that you do. This is a story for ancestors and descendants, for the people without roles or representation, and for those who find themselves placed in a random mixed up race. This is a story about time, travel and tigers, mountains and moons, and what happens when you sew back a thread that was split irrevocably into two. Relive and defining memories from early childhood into adulthood, Ella Woozier engages with the diverse patterns of racism and prejudice and their cumulative effect on a single life. Using a healing stream of connection with family history, friends, nature and imagination, and the act of creation, Lila illustrates the way a self is forged between past lives and personhood, and from colonialism to creativity. This is a vivid lyrical account of identity, endurance, courage, growth and artistry. In Not Quite White, you are invited to follow the journey of somebody trying desperately to understand who they are, how to survive, and what it might mean to thrive. This is a book about discovery of self and sort of the self-reflection that a lot of people go through when they're trying to understand who they are and where they've come from. And I found this to be really interesting for me because I've never experienced anything like this myself. Can you hear the bagpipes? There's a bagpipe procession. I might just have to hold out until they've passed. So the bagpipes have moved along a bit. I don't know if you'll still be able to pick that up on video. If you can, I apologise if you're not into bagpipes. The joys of living on a Scottish island. So yeah, this book is something that was very interesting for me to read, and it is not only personal experience, but it is interspersed with research and other people's experience too. And so I find it to be informative as well as beautifully written, and also because this is real life, this is someone's real actual experience. It isn't all wrapped up in a neat little bow at the end, because life isn't like that. So again, this isn't my usual read, but I thoroughly enjoyed being allowed to read Lila's experience and learn a thing or two along the way. And so yeah, I found it really interesting. So as usual, I'm just trying to stretch my back out because it is rather sore. So as usual, if you have read any of these, let me know. If you're going to, let me know, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.